Welcome to our weekly press conference with head coach Tom Arth. This week, Akron returns home to host Troy on Saturday, September 21st. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. and will be aired on ESPN+. Coach, would you like to start with an opening statement?
Sure. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's exciting to be back out there practicing. Thought we had a very good day today. Thought our team has responded extremely well to the challenges that we've faced, and I think that's the most encouraging thing for me going forward. We know we got a long way to go. We know there's a lot of improvements that we can make, and I think that's the exciting part about it for me and for our players is realizing the things that we can do, and that's players, coaches, everybody involved in the organization to make sure that we put ourselves in position to go out there and play as well as we can week in and week out. So we have a great challenge this week with Troy coming here. They're a great team, very successful program, very athletic, very fast team that's going to present a great challenge to us that we're very excited about.
Troy's got one of the highest ranked passing offenses in the country. Are you planning anything different to contend with that?
Well, absolutely. I think, week in and week out, you're game planning. You're building a plan, around your team, around what we do well, but also, keeping in mind who the opponent is and what their strengths are and, what formations they play in, what their personnel groupings are. So making sure that we, are conscious of that. But, to your point, they are very explosive offense. They throw the ball exceptionally well, and they run it well also. So it's going to be a big challenge for our defense, and I know defensively we're anxious to get back out there and and perform at a level that we think we're capable of.
Coach, yesterday you said you worked very hard on special teams last week, and it really proved itself up at Central Michigan, a lot of improvement. Is there a specific unit this week that you're concentrating on, or just trying to get better across the board?
We're really trying to get better across the board. I do think that, special teams was, a big area of concern for us coming out of the UAB game, and I thought our players on those units, I thought our specialists, I thought they responded really well. I thought they had a great week of practice last week. We had a number of players coming up and meeting extra on their own, asking Coach Hurd to spend a little bit of time going through the plan and watching film, and those types of things pay off, and it was really great to see, and I was really happy for them that they were able to go out and perform at the level that they did. And it's not going to get any easier for us. Troy is a very good team in the kicking game. They have some dangerous returners, and they do a great job. They're big, they're athletic, they're fast. So it's going to be another week where we have to play well in that phase of the game in order to give our offense and defense the best chance to be successful.
Hi, Coach. As you know, Troy had over 500 yards passing last week, 4 guys with a 100-yard game. And I look at and your secondary, now that it's all on them, but I know they're getting better. I also know you don't want to use it as an excuse, but sometimes you're really young out there at times. I mean, you got a lot of first-year players on the field.
Our responsibility is to go out and to play as well as we can, to execute the calls. And I think the mistakes that we're making and the miscues we're having, I don't think that's related to the age or the experience level of our players. I think it's just it's a situation where where we all have to get better, and we all have responsibility in that. And the guys that are out there have a job to do, and we're counting on them. Their teammates are counting on them. Our university is counting on them. So whether they're a freshman or a senior, we need guys that are going to go out there and going to execute and play as well as they can. And that's our job as coaches, is to put them in position where they can do that.
Along those lines, especially with younger players, but they're successful in high school and practice, but practice here is a lot different, and especially the time commitment in watching film and everything like that. Is that something you have to kind of thrust upon them, or do they kind of do that on their own?
You certainly, you don't leave it to them, to figure it out. That's a part of our program. That's a part of, our preparation and our training, is just understanding, what it takes to be successful and to put yourself in position to play as well as you can play. on Saturdays. So I think our players, fully understand what the expectations are and fully understand what it takes to do well and to play well. I think they don't have much of a choice in that. So they're doing a great job. And I will say those young guys, especially, they're smart. They're smart football players. They grasp the game, and are going to be really good for us.
How much of what's going on with that young secondary has to do with what's been a lack of a pass rush so far that I've seen?
I don't know, how much the secondary, affects the pass rush. I think, in some instances, when you bring pressures, a lot of those pressures, are going to result in some one-on-ones, outside. And, I think those are decisions and calculated decisions that we have to make as a staff, and when to bring pressure and, when to provide some help, in the back end. So, certainly, the more pressure you bring, the more rushers you bring, typically the better your pass rush is going to be. But you got to be conscious of protecting, your secondary and your DBs, and not putting them in a situation that they're not able to be successful in.
Coach, only one other time in your coaching tenure have you started a season 0-3. Your first year at Tennessee, Chattanooga. Just what, if anything, can you sort of draw on from that experience to then bring to this one where you're also starting a season 0-3, and then what's the message that you sort of gave then, and what's this message you sort of have for your team now?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I think that that season 2017 was probably the best season I've ever had, as a coach, in terms of the learning and the growth, and just really finding out about myself, because as you mentioned, my time leading up to that had been nothing really but success. So I never knew how I would respond personally and how I would deal with the adversity, how I would deal with failure. So it was a great learning experience for me. And what I learned in that is that I do have a lot of strength. I do have a lot of resiliency, and I do have the ability to focus on the things that are most important. And like I told our team, the scoreboard will lie to you, and that's win, lose, whatever it is. The scoreboard will lie to you, and what matters is the effort. What matters is the attitude, the toughness, the discipline that we play with every single day, with the purpose of being the best that we can be, being the best team that we can be. And I think that that's really been my message throughout since I've been here with this group, and certainly re-emphasizing that week in and week out, and especially this week is just saying is like let's be indifferent to outcomes, be indifferent to all these other things that are going on around us, and just focus on what it takes for us to improve, what it takes for us to go out there and play as well as we can play. And that is my goal. That is my only goal, for this group, for this weekend, for this season, is to put them in position to play and perform to the level that they're capable of. And I do feel that that's our coach's responsibility, to do that. Our players are going to go out there, they're going to play with great effort, they're going to fight, they're going to compete, and we have to do everything that we can to put them in position to perform to the best of their abilities.
What do you have to do to change the slow starts offensively in the first half?
I don't know.
And is the offense still out of sync right now? Is it still evolving?
Absolutely. To say that it isn't, would not be honest. We certainly are. We have some moments where we play really well. We have some moments where we look really bad, and look like we haven't practiced a day, at what we're doing, and that's it's growth. It's not easy, and it doesn't just happen overnight. And I think that's something that we all have to realize. We all want instant gratification. We all want everything to come to us right now, and unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And it doesn't work that way in the long term, and you're not able to sustain that. You can have instant success, and you can do these different things, and you can, bring in, players from, all over the place, and, you can kind of get things going right away, but are you able to sustain that? And what we're building is a program that that we hope will have sustained success. And to do that, there's certain things that you have to do. There's a process that you have to go through to do things the right way and to focus on the right things that are ultimately going to lead to successful outcomes on Saturday. So, we are certainly, out of sync, at times, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. But that's a part of it, and that's part of our job and part of our responsibilities to limit that and to continue to improve in those areas and analyze why is it happening, what is it happening, how is our players and their preparation affecting that, how is our coaching staff and the situations and what we're asking them to do affecting that, and really, coming up with a plan and, refocusing week in and week out to improve. And that's the same process you go through if you're 3-0 or if you're 0-3. You're constantly looking for ways to improve. You're constantly looking for ways to get better and to go out there and play as well as you can play.
Coach, for the maybe the first-year freshmen that haven't played yet, they're getting better and better each practice. How tempting is it maybe to pop them in there and start playing them as opposed to maybe waiting until the end of the year when they can play those last 4 games?
A lot of them are playing. A lot of them are. There's a handful that I think we'll probably start to get some more opportunities and some more experience. As we go here, maybe even this weekend into the next few weeks. But we're certainly not, waiting until, the last 4 games. That's definitely not our strategy. We're looking for, certainly the right moments and the right opportunities to get our young players playing. Some, have been forced into situations, due to depth or due to, just their, physical ability and earning roles on our team. So, every situation is a little bit different, but we do have a number of those guys going now, and I would expect there to be a handful more that'll start getting an opportunity here in the coming weeks.
Why risk Alvin Davis returning punts when he's probably one of your best defenders?
He's also one of the best players we have on the team, and he's somebody that we trust. He's a really smart football player. He makes great decisions, and he provides an opportunity back there where if we can get a hat on a hat and we can hold some people up a little bit and we get Alvin a little bit of room, he can change a game. He can make a play, and that's a decision that we made that we feel is in the best interest of our program. And Alvin is not on a lot of special teams, for that reason. But that's an opportunity for him to make a difference in the game, and that could be on a big return. That could just be catching the ball and not letting it hit the ground, and putting our offense in a bad situation. So we feel that Alvin is the best option back there and gives us the best opportunity to be successful in that unit.
Michael Matheson returning kickoffs too. He looked like he's got some talent back there. Gave you some decent field position.
He did. That was a real bright spot, for us, within the special teams units as well as, all of the units played. I thought kickoff return was outstanding, and I thought we did a great job, within that unit. And certainly Mike is an explosive player. He has the ability to make big plays when he gets the ball in his hands, and it's great to see that. It's really, it's been exciting, and, for him to get his first opportunity back there and to have the returns that he had, and really to kind of limit, kind of change their plan and force some pop-up kicks and some different things, is good, and it gave our offense great starting field position, and that's really important in ultimately in your success offensively.
Any other questions from the media?
Just from being at Chattanooga before, obviously Troy has had a role, and obviously their coach left as a new guy, but
right.
They've put together a pretty impressive program there.
They have. They're an exceptional program, and again, being in the South the last couple of years, very familiar with Troy, and Coach Neil Brown is somebody that I've had so much respect for, and obviously he's moved on, to a new opportunity. But Chip Lindsey, I know is going to come in and carry that tradition forward. He's been successful, everywhere that he's been, and it's a program that I have a lot of respect for. I think they do things the right way. I think they do a great job in recruiting. They do a great job in their organization and their operation, and they come out and they play at a high level, and they play hard and they play fast, and it's a great program, and it's going to be a big challenge for us. But again, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to go out there and be the best that we can be, independent of who we're playing, what their program is. None of it matters. None of it matters. All that matters is that we go out there and we perform as well as we can.
Can you put your finger on what's going on with the offensive line, while you're not seeing the push in the run game that you'd probably like to see?
We got to get better in that area, and we're looking at it from a coaching perspective, and looking at different things that we can do to help the running game. So hopefully that's gonna that'll be an area that you got to keep working at. You got to keep working on, and unfortunately with situations that our games have gotten into, sometimes that that ability to keep running it goes away, and we hopefully won't put ourselves in a position like that, and continue to to emphasize that throughout practice, throughout the game. So it's something that that we'll continue to improve on.
Are you considering any changes on the line at this point?
I think that we're constantly evaluating our roster. We're constantly evaluating every position, and I know it's really easy for everybody to start questioning everything and every decision, and who's playing and who's not playing, because we're 0-3. But at the end of the day, we got guys that are out there that are fighting their tails off week in and week out. And I don't know what everybody expects. I don't know what everybody expects from them, but what I expect is them to play as hard as they can play, and they're giving us that. Do we have to improve our execution? We absolutely do. We absolutely do. Okay, but we're working. Our players are working every single day to do that. I'm challenging them every single day to do that, and that's what our responsibility is. That's what our job is, and those questions and decisions and things like that. That's for people on the outside to concern themselves with. That is not a focus for our team or for our coaching staff.
Do we have any questions from the class? And you can use this too.
What is so special about Burkhardt at receiver that he came into the year with 1 reception, and now he's actually having like a breakout season with, he had like almost 200-yard game. So, it's pretty impressive that he came, and Cato has really just relied on him, a lot, kind of, in the past few games.
I think what's, real positive in our passing game is that the ball is getting spread around. There's a number of receivers, tight ends, running backs that are getting catches and getting touches, and I think that that's important. Certainly Dusty had an incredible game, statistically, against UAB, but that was a product of just some really great situations that he put himself in, some scramble opportunities, just made some great plays, and great players do that, and I do think Dusty has that ability to be a great player for us. He's fast. He runs well, he catches well, and he's a great weapon for us. And it's important for us to continue to find ways to get him the ball, and to continue to find ways to get all of our playmakers opportunities in space to do those types of things. But Dusty has been very good for us. We expect him to continue to do that throughout the season.